What's going on YouTube? Games with Kelvin here, back with another SINoALICE video. And on today's video, I'm going to be going over my ultimate beginner tips. Now that SINoALICE has been out for almost a week, I want to be able to share to you some of my tips and tricks I use to progress in this game fast and efficiently. So let's stop wasting time and dive on in. And right from the top, let's talk about reroll. I'll keep this very simple. If you want to be a DPS unit, go for Cinderella. The reason for that is she has a great weapon that's going to deal damage as well as heal. So if you're going for a Cinderella, make sure that you can get another SR DPS weapon. What you preferably want to get is a blade weapon. This is going to be representing with the sword icon. Get another one of those. It goes well with Cinderella since she's a breaker class, and that's a great start. However, if you don't pull that and you get another DPS weapon, that's fine as well. And the reason why you don't want to stress too much on your reroll is when you come to the Grimoire, you're going to see right here that we have our beginner banner, and when we look at it, we can see that it's the exact same banner that we summon on. So what you're going to want to do here is, if you are tempted to have to spin, go ahead and do a summon no more than twice, and hopefully you can pull one of the nightmares within the summon. If you do, that's going to be the best nightmare that you'll probably have at the moment. So I will say, if you get lucky enough to pull that, great. If not, no worries. Not only did you get a whole bunch of weapons and maybe a job, but now you can also come to our menu button down here, and another way to get more weapons is going to be clicking on this shop. And then I'm going to come down here to the items. And here we have two great packs that you can get weapons for if you don't want to spend that 300. So instead you can do 300 right here, and then you're going to get your starter pack Vanguard weapons and your starter pack Rearguard weapons. Vanguard's for DPS, Rearguard is for support. Now the better thing about this compared to the Gacha is you're not going to get any A weapons. These are all going to be S and SR. So that's already good, and you already know that it's guaranteed. So if you decide to spend your 300 this way, there's nothing wrong with that. And the reason that you don't want to necessarily blow all your money on the summon banner is because that's going to become power crept as soon as the next banner comes out. So a lot of those weapons are going to be obsolete anyways once you get stronger weapons. So that's something to keep in mind as you save your gems for banner summon. Now, after we talk about this, the next thing that I want to look at is this is a very social game. Yes, you can play it solo, but it's so much better in a group. So I highly suggest for beginners that you join a guild as fast as possible. And also another reason for that is going to be when you're in a guild, this is going to be one of the best ways to farm charm medals as well as friendship medals. And especially when it comes to friendship medals, you can only get that when you and a friend are following each other. In this game, you'll notice after you run stories and campaigns or whatever, you can follow the computer characters that are on your screen. But if they don't follow you back, if you happen to use them again and they're not following you, won't get that friendship medal. But in a guild, since you're automatically in the same group, if you run with your guild mates, you'll always get friendship medals. And you will have a limit to how many you can get a day, but I will say that's great. And then sharp medals, that's just going to be great, because when you come to the Medal Exchange store, here you can see with our charm medals, the reason why everyone loves farming these is look at the shop right here. Nothing but SR weapons. We got some nightmares, some characters. We even got some gems, some armor, materials needed to upgrade your nightmares, your weapons, your mastery, your skills, everything. This is great. This is going to be a great place to do some extra farming, and you can get that with charms, which once again, the best way to get that is going to be through your guild. Another method that you can use to get those will be limit breaking your S and SR weapons as well. But as a beginner, you probably don't got that many, so make sure that you're farming charm medals all the time. Alright, so the next thing that I always see people asking is, how do I raise my battle power fast and efficiently? And the best way to do that is by upgrading your weapon, whether it's through limit breaking, evolving, or leveling up. So let's take a quick look. Now when I come to my upgrade gear, sometimes you might hear people say, oh, invest in your SRs, make sure you evolve those to Ls and power those all the way up. In theory, that sounds great. But the problem with that is, especially in the beginning of the game, you don't really have many resources. So by going that route, you're going to burn a lot of resources on those weapons, so it doesn't really make sense to have only like 2 are strong L weapons and everything else is like S and SR at level 10, not even evolve or anything. So when we click on my chains base, you can see here for the majority of my weapons, they are all evenly leveled out. And now I can go ahead and start evolving them. So I do highly suggest when you're powering up your weapons, make sure that you do them all together, so that way you can not only stay within range of your power within your weapons, but then you'll gradually see more increase because you're leveling up multiple weapons as opposed to 2, and it'll really make a difference within your battle power. And the same thing goes for your armor as well as nightmare. Make sure to keep up with those, but also do it at a rate that's comfortable. And I will say for your nightmare, probably just focus on your S tier ones for right now. The A's and all that, those aren't good at all, so use that as fodder to power those up. And then when I'm speaking about fodder, when it comes to your weapons, the best place to farm that is going to be here in your story mode, and then you're going to click on the event. And what happens 6 times a day is, it hasn't came up yet, it's about to in a little bit, but what happens 6 times a day is going to be known as the gorilla event, where you can farm armor and weapon EXP fodder. This is going to be your best place to get those EXP fodder, so make sure to definitely jump on the opportunity. And if you have drop valves, I highly suggest you use those. Those come in 2 increments, either 10 minutes or 30 minutes, but both of those do the same thing, and that increases your drop rate by 2. So definitely jump on that when you're farming. And if you want to make it even faster, you can use your skip tickets to go through some of those stages fast enough, and then once you're out of skip tickets, then run the event, and then hopefully you can farm as much as you can in that 30-minute range. And one thing that I want to touch on before we kind of move away from the weapons is not only leveling up your weapons will be important, but you can also level up your skills as well. Now, as far as what to focus on first, as a new player, I would highly suggest that you level up your weapons first before you focus on your skills, because the reason for that is you need skill orbs, and those don't drop that often, or you farm them from various events. However, you can increase your skills by using unwanted weapons, but as a beginner, all your weapons seem to be pretty wanted, because if they're not on your main grid, they're on your sub grid until you can completely fill those out. And then at that point, your unwanted weak weapons, feed them into your favorite weapons and start building up that skill level. So the other side to the weapons are going to be the people who use the weapons. And these are going to be all your characters that everyone goes crazy over, and these are going to be your classes. Now, the reason why you hear so many people talking about make sure you pull as many classes as you can, and that's going to be because I'll go ahead and click on my Cinderella. The reason why people say get as many classes as you can is because you can see right here in this little grid, I have a whole bunch of different stats. Now, the way how this works, if it's for the class, it's only going to affect the class, but for common, that goes account-wise, so it's going to affect all classes no matter what. So when you look at this screen, it doesn't really look like that much, but when you compare that to a whole bunch of classes that people will eventually be able to unlock, you can see how that number greatly adds up, and it can be a great benefit. So definitely don't sleep on getting your mastery points, and that's exactly how you're going to be able to farm and level up your classes. You get mastery points by spending SP. So another thing that I want to say, yes, you do have the ability to auto play as far as auto run your stages. I highly suggest that you manual your stage, because since the name in the game is to use your SP points, you want to make sure that you're always using your skills as opposed to having the computer run for you and then having maybe other people or the computer input skills faster than you, therefore taking chances for you to use your SP. So if you want to farm a lot of SP, highly suggest that you manual your stages. That's the best thing that you can do for yourself. And then also, we don't want to forget about limit breaking your characters. Now, the way to limit break your characters are the following. The story mode characters, you can limit break them through completing the story. You will unlock certain arcana, which is the equipment, which is the material needed to level break. But as far as with your other ones, you can actually buy some of these within the Metal Exchange shop, and I'll go ahead and show you what they look like. So here I'll just go back to my charm medals, because you know that's the best medals in the game. And if I scroll down a little bit, here you can see with Pinocchio and Red Riding Hood, I have Pinocchio, the Paladin, and then under that I'm going to have Pinocchio Arcana level 1, and then Red Riding Hood level 1. So what happens is once you use that, that's going to increase your class level. And again, I'll give you a quick look to show you. Everyone's class limit is at 10, class level limit, but once you do limit break them, they do increase. And here you can see Cinderella is now currently at 12, and that's going to be for the first slot. So we can limit break her a couple more times, and by doing that, her class level will increase. So that's going to be something to look forward to in the future. Now I also want to touch on what are some of the best uses for gems in this game. The obvious is going to be summoning, based on when the summons are worth it, and I will be having videos for that, so that way you know if you should or shouldn't spend your gems. Now another thing that I love using my gems for, and this is going to be an old adage for any gacha game, I always use my gems to refresh my stamina. I am a power grinder. I like to get through and farm a lot of material needed, especially when it comes to leveling up these classes. So for me, spending the 10 diamonds is not that big of a deal. And then of course you're gonna have anything that you can buy within the game. In the shop, right here in the items, I will say do your starter packs at least once, and then from here, when able to, buy your vows. You have your EXP, your gold, and then the drop vow, which I mentioned earlier. All these are the 30-minute increment ones. Definitely use your gems for that. And now another thing that I want to talk about when it comes to gems is your royal user service. Now this will only give you gems on the initial purchase, but the beauty of the royal user service is this is going to be the subscription value of the game. So I'm going to click on the details right here. So as we take a look, you get a lot of different items. So here you can see you're going to get your crystals as well as the royal medals, which you can also exchange within the metal exchange section. And then you're also going to get your types of blessings. And then here's one thing: if you like to use your purification to refresh your stamina, your wait time will actually be reduced. And then also a big thing right here, you increase your daily friend medals from 3 to 5. 2 might not sound like a lot, but that adds up. And then of course you're gonna get some skip tickets to go along with that. Now when it comes to farming gems, there's going to be a whole bunch of different methods. The usual is always going to be within your medal events, the story mode, missions, and then also different events. But one thing that I will say is a really cool way that maybe not that many people know is going to be through the ways of limit breaking your gear. Every time you limit break 5 times, you get 30 gems. Now you can get gems up to the 1000th time that you've limit break your gear. So you can actually get 6,000 you can get up to 6,000 gems just limit breaking your gear. That's crazy. Not many people would think about that. But also I will say that I do have a guide that will have different ways to farm gems. That's just one of those hidden nuggets. But if you want to know more methods, go ahead and watch that video and you can see that as well. And then the obvious without saying, make sure that you do your rookie's path. That's going to be a lot of ways to learn the game as well as get more items as well. Okay, let's take a look at some of the events. I know people are going to want to know, when I'm farming these type of medal and gather events, what's the best way to go about this? My thing is if it has a store associated with it. So with this event, we do have a medal exchange. My rule of thumb is always going to be the following: make sure that you get, if a unit is available, get the unit, get the gems, and then make sure you do your best to get as much of the materials needed to boost your character. And that's going to be the method that I use when it comes to farming stuff. Another thing that I want to talk about that can be highly overlooked is in your co-op settings. If you click on this gear button right here and we take a look at our co-op, you can see right now the setting I have it to is anyone. But if you want to guarantee that you're getting people that you know are strong, I would always click on only friends and guild members. This way you're not getting those randos who aren't even strong and then cause you to not do well in a run, unless of course you're beasting and you're carrying the team anyways. but that's definitely something that's overlooked by a lot of people, and it's a great method to use. And a funny thing that I hear people ask a lot, believe it or not, is how do I change my character on the main screen? So I'm going to go ahead and come here, click on Cinderella, then you're going to click on this refresh button right here. And here, this is going to be how you can switch out characters. So I'll go ahead and click on the new Cinderella that just dropped today. And that's going to be how you can change your avatar on the main screen. So if you'd like to be able to catch more tips and tricks and guides for SINoALICE, make sure you hit that like button so I know you're enjoying the content. And don't forget to hit that button and subscribe so that way you can be the first to get the newest content about SINoALICE as it comes out. I hope you enjoyed the guide. Definitely more to come. Once again, Games with Kelvin here, and I'll catch you on the next one. Peace.